Hi there and welcome to Bitrix24 Live. My name's Andy and I am the support manager here at Gold Partners Interface. And we are here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time answering any questions that you may have on Bitrix24. So whether you have a cloud version of Bitrix, so a free version, or the CRM Plus, the Project Plus, the Standard, or the Professional, or an on-premise version of Bitrix, then I can show you live on screen any questions, any answers to any questions that you may have. So you can see here that we're located in the US, the UK and in the UAE. So please do get in touch with us if you do have any queries with regards to Bitrix24. We offer a whole range of different services from pre-sale support. So if you need an online demonstration to you or your team, we can arrange that. We also offer implementation and installation services. So if you're looking at getting Bitrix for your company, then we have a whole range of different services that allow us to implement Bitrix24 into your company the best way possible. We offer obviously licenses and finally premium support. So if you would like telephone or ticketing support, then that comes with our premium support packages. So if you are interested in any of those particular services, please do get in touch using the contact details on the screen. As I say, with these live sessions, we are here for the next hour, as long as you keep getting questions. And if you do have any questions that come up during the week, do send them over to sales@intraface.com and we can start the sessions off with those questions. If you've got questions during this particular session, just put them in the box on YouTube and I can answer them as we go along. So I've got a few questions that have come in already. The first one is, what are the simplest ways to integrate my website with Bitrix24? So Bitrix does offer a whole range of different tools to integrate with your website, and they include, if we go into the contact center in the left hand menu, they do include such tools as live chat. So you can see live chat is here. They offer CRM forms. So if you would like a contact form embedded on your website, then they offer website forms here. And I can show you a little bit later on how to create these particular web forms. They are generally used for brand new inquiries to generate those leads. So those are the two main tools that essentially integrate your website with Bitrix, and the tools to generate those leads. Whilst we're on here, you can also see that we have a whole range of other tools to generate leads. So if you want to connect up Facebook, somebody private messages you from your business Facebook account, then you can answer those questions and queries directly from within Bitrix. That's the same with Facebook comments as well. So if you put a post up, then you can comment back automatically from within Bitrix to any comments that you receive on that particular post. The same with Instagram. So there are a whole range of tools here. Bitrix do offer step-by-step guides on how to connect each one of these tools up. So if you are interested in connecting these tools up, please do get in touch with us or take a look at the Bitrix24 support section on their site on how to use these. With regards to the website form, To create a new form, it's quite straightforward. All you would need to do is click on Add New Form, and we can give it a name here. So if we said Inquiry Form, and then here, so this just tells us what the form is inside Bitrix, and then this is the, so we can say license today. So this is what the end user would see. And then down the right hand side here, we have the different modules within the CRM. And inside each one of these different sections are the field names. So we can just easily click and select to build up the particular form. So we have these ones here. So you can see the form is being built. If we scroll down, we can style it up a little bit here. We also have the responsible person for the item that's being generated. And this is the item here. So save form data to CRM entities, and we can generate a lead from this information. There are a whole range of other little tools in here, so you can decide what you want to do if the lead already exists. If you want to style it up to match the style of your website, thank you pages, and so on and so forth. So if you click on Save, the way to embed your form, if we just go into the CRM here, and then go to CRM Forms at the top of the page. And the way to get this inquiry form on your website is simply clicking on the embed code and copying it and then pasting it into any of the areas where you may want to have this form displaying on a particular page. So a question that we had earlier on in the week from one of our customers was just how you can embed this on a WordPress site. So you may, if you do have a WordPress site, you may need to just download a plugin for the HTML widget, the HTML shortcode just to embed this on a page on your WordPress site. So it's, but many of our clients do have WordPress sites, and yeah, you can easily and quickly embed that onto that particular kind of website. Got another question. If I rent a number, can the recording be stopped when a client needs to pay over the phone? So that's quite a good question. So I guess in terms of taking payments over the phone with card details, I guess what you would have to do is you would have to dispose of the recording after the actual call itself. Or disable the recording facility if you were to take payment on a particular number, because you can rent multiple numbers in Bitrix. So if we just go into we've got another site open here, and if I click into telephony, we have the number connected up on this particular system. And if I just postpone this report, so you can see here we have rent a number that is selected on here. And you can rent multiple numbers, and it might be that you have a particular number specified to take those payments. And if somebody was to dial that number, then you could obviously switch off the recording facility for that number. When you click on configure, I do believe it's within here. So click on configure numbers, click on configure here, and you can see recording. So save all recordings of calls. You would just have that deselected for the number that you are accepting payments on. So that is probably the best way of doing it. One of the questions, again, especially with remote working, is we've had a few questions recently with regards to integrating their third-party telephony system. And one of the ones that we recently had, I think it was this week, was 8 by 8, so 8 times 8 telephony services. Now Bitrix have introduced a whole new range of applications that now integrate your telephony providers. So if you are thinking about you're still wanting to keep your number with the provider that you have, it is worth checking out the total apps section here. So if we go into the 71 within here, then you can see VoIP integration, and there are a whole range of different integrations here. Another one that we had recently asked was, so that's 8x8 series, that's one we had. AirCall was another one which is very popular. So AirCall now integrates with Bitrix. We have Telefonica Spain. There are a whole, like I say, there are a lot now that you can connect up. So if you do have an existing, it is worth checking in here to see if you can integrate your telephony provider with Bitrix. It's the best way of keeping your number if you don't, if you want to keep that particular telephone number. Obviously the easiest way, and again it's a very common question that we get, the easiest way to start using Bitrix telephony is by renting a number directly from Bitrix. So you can see here, to do so, we have rent a number here, and we have the ability to select the location, and we can select the location here. So there are a whole range. Some of these locations do require you to provide proof. So I think the one that needs to provide proof is going to be Germany. So you can see here it's only $6 per month, and the connection cost is $6 as well. But it's this here, upload verification documentation. So one of the ones that you don't need, for example, is the UK. You can have a UK number, and if we choose the local number here, we can specify any location in the UK. So if you wanted a London number, for example, we have 0208 or 0203, and then you would select it, click on rent, and it literally is instant. So it will be, as long as you've got the balance that is positive enough to cover the $6 to rent the number, then your number will then be active. And I'm just going to dial this because it's not something that we generally do on the live sessions, just to show you what it looks like. So if I dial this from my cell phone now, I think it's something, so let me just double check here. I think I will need to maybe configure this number. So let's have a look. Configure. And I think we might have, so that should be okay. Let me see if I can get through to this number. So I can't get through it at the moment, but what I'll do is I'll try that a little bit later on. In general, what you can use the Bitrix telephony for is obviously dialing out of Bitrix. So we can click on the phone icon here. We can click into the CRM here, and obviously the CRM is linked with the telephony. So any number that you receive a call from, Bitrix will check to see whether they exist in the CRM. So if one of these numbers down the right hand side exists that's calling you, then it will pop up with the lead card or the contact card that number is associated against, and it will display the information in a pop-up on the screen, which is really good because you already know then who's calling, what opportunities, what leads are currently outstanding, and you can then be prepared before actually answering the call. Obviously the calls are then recorded if you have that setting set up, and if you do record the calls, then you can click into here and click into, for example, Jane Green here. Let's see if she has any recordings. But generally, if the telephony does record the call, it will appear on the right hand side, and you will be able to play that back and and listen to the recording, which all helps with the transparency of the history of communication. So all your colleagues that are working on any particular opportunities for these clients can work their way through them. So I've got a question. They use Bitrix24 self-hosted edition, and we need to increase the number of users we have. So this is actually quite a common question that we're getting at the moment due to more and more people working remotely and just needing to upgrade their license. So the cost to upgrade from a Business 50 to a 100 edition is actually going to be $2,000. But at the moment, if you were to take that out, we are here at Intraface, we are offering a 10% discount on that as well. So if you are looking at increasing the amount of users due to more and more people requiring to access Bitrix, then yes, 50 to 100 is going to be $2,000 less the discount that we're currently offering here at Intraface of 10%. So I'll just put our contact details up there. Like I said right at the beginning, if you do have any questions with regards to Bitrix, please do ask them today. But if you're wanting to have maybe a one-to-one demonstration of Bitrix to make sure that it fits your business requirements, then we can get that arranged for you with one of our team here, and they can show you an online demonstration. Like I say, we also offer the licenses and help with any implementation or installation, as well as premium support services, including ticketing and telephone support. So our details are up there. Please look at your most local office, and then either give us a call or drop us an email to sales@intraface.com. So I've got a question come through. Hi, can we import companies from one CRM to another CRM? So Bitrix CRM is very flexible in terms of importing. So if I just go into our Cloud Edition, for example, here, and if you want to get your companies out of another CRM and import them into Bitrix, then all you would need to do is go to Companies, click on the little gear icon here, and click on Import Companies. If you do that, then if I just download an example CSV here, just to show you, and I'll re-upload that. So if I go in here and click on the one we've just downloaded, if I keep semicolon, so you will need to create a spreadsheet with multiple column headers that you're going to store your company information under. The main required field is the company name. You can't import a company spreadsheet without having a company name. So just make sure you have that particular column. Then if we click on Next, what that's going to do is the left hand side is all the column headers in your spreadsheet, and on the right hand side are all the fields inside Bitrix24 Companies module. Generally, because I downloaded a sample, these are all matching perfectly, but if you call something different in your spreadsheet, for example, it won't know how to map the fields to the fields that exist inside Bitrix. So it might look a little bit like empty in some particular fields. All you need to do is click on the fields that you want to map them to, and it will allow you then to proceed. So you can see an example of what it will look like, and click on Next. And then you can decide how you want the duplicate control to work. So if you're importing 10,000 companies, it can check to see whether you've got duplicates in there, and you can import all, replace existing, merge, which allows you then to update the particular entries in your CRM, or you can skip. That's the easiest way. So as long as the other package that you've got, you can get the data out of, you can then manipulate that data into a spreadsheet and match it column for field exactly and get all those in. One point to note, that if you are importing into Bitrix and you're importing companies and contacts, always import your companies first. The reason why that is because then, once you've imported all your companies, when you go to import your contacts, you can then map those contacts to those specific companies. So if I went into Cisco Systems here, for example, I will be able to see that this particular company has 3 associated contacts. So Max Smith, Jack Smith, and Joe Smith. And we can do that on the import. So if we do the companies first, and then I have another spreadsheet ready to import into contacts, as long as we have a first name, last name, and company name when we're importing the contacts, then it will map to the company that you put within that company name column. So it's an excellent way of getting everything associated with one another. Because we deal with a lot of clients that have companies in their CRM, and some of those companies can have quite a high number of contacts associated to them. An example might be that you have an accounts contact. So for finance, you might have a sales contact, an account manager contact. So there is reasons for mapping multiple contacts to those companies. So hopefully that answered your question. So you can import leads, deals, companies, contacts. So we've had this question quite a bit this week and last week. So I'm working from home and I need to have a video conference with my project team. How can I do this? So Bitrix does now allow you to have video call and voice calls and group chat as well. Group chat is unlimited. Video and voice call is limited at 10 individuals. So the best thing to do is, you can do it in 2 ways. If you click into the little spyglass icon here, we can find a particular person. So I might want to find a user called David here. Click on David Brown. Then in here, I can have a one-to-one conversation with David. As you can see, we have done on Tuesday there. But what I might want to do as well is bring additional people into this particular chat. So I can do so by clicking on the invite button, clicking on Laura, Jack and Joe, and invite them in. And you can see that that will start a new chat group. And we can call this chat group, it might be that we want to have Bitrix24 live. And then you can see here that in the left-hand side of the history of all our chats is now called Bitrix24 Live. So one of the good things you can see, I've got 5 individuals in this. So you can see here that we can have a video call. I can also have a voice call. So you can see it will start dialing everyone up. I don't have a microphone connected up in this particular one, but you can have video calls, voice calls. So it does become a really powerful tool to have those chats and use the video conferencing. We have created a series of recordings recently and we put them on our Interface YouTube channel. So if you are interested in remote working, we've created a series of 7 screencasts. So if I just go to our website here, interface.com, and if I just get our, I think it's going to be on here, we have remote working with Bitrix24. So you can send this link out here, but you can see here that we have, as I mentioned, we have 7 screencasts, and they all focus on specific areas of Bitrix. So you can see we've got the communication, so that looks at the instant messenger and voice calls. We have collaboration in work groups, tasks and projects, document management, everything about the CRM. So this one's around about an hour long. It goes into quite a lot of detail about the CRM, and also telephony. And then finally, we have one on the mobile application as well. So that's quite handy. It's not usually shown on many of our sessions, the mobile application. So if you are interested in what the mobile application has to offer, then that is going to be the best location to find that. So I can post that out to you shortly. So I can post that out, that link, and it will be, I think it will be very useful to you. So this is the link here in the chat. So please do put your questions forward. I've only got a couple more questions that have come through during the week. As I mentioned, again, I mentioned it a couple of times, if you do have any questions that come to you in the week, please do send them to sales@interface.com, and we can have a start each session off with those questions. Is there any Slack integration? At the moment, there isn't any Slack integration. It is probably something that we should start looking at, as Slack is more and more popular, especially with remote working. So it's maybe something that we can have a look at. So if it is essential to you, please do drop us an email, and we can investigate that further. Can you explain how email integration works in Bitrix24? So email integration works quite simple, really. If you click into the webmail icon here, and let's just disconnect this particular mailbox up. So if you click on disable, then what Bitrix provides you with is ability to connect your mailbox. So we can see in here that we have the main providers, or the most common providers, should we say, of email services. So everything from Gmail, Office 365, through to if you want to connect up your IMAP settings. So if you click on the service that you want to connect, and if I said interface demo at outlook.com, and then if I put a password, you can see how easy that is to connect up. Then you can decide how many emails you want to bring through into your mailbox. So if I put for the month, and then with regards to using your outgoing mail settings for your SMTP, I would always recommend to say yes. So that would then mean that you can send emails. I think this is correct. And then finally, the main reason why you're going to integrate your email to Bitrix is generally because of the link to the CRM. So any email that you receive to your email, whether you're using Bitrix as your email service or not, you can still, as long as you integrate it here by doing this, you can continue to use Outlook, you can continue to use Gmail, you don't have to use Bitrix for your email. But as long as you've got it integrated and this checkbox ticked, linked to CRM, then Bitrix is going to check all your incoming emails, who that email is from, and then see if they exist in your CRM. It's also going to check all your outgoing email and see if they exist in the CRM. And if they do, it will take a copy of either email and put it into that contacts activity stream. So it's a really powerful tool. So we can see here, I can bring in for a month. I would generally recommend to deselect, if it's your own personal work email, you generally don't need to be creating leads for every new incoming email, because you imagine you do get marketing emails and things that you don't want to be created as leads. And the same goes for outgoing. But you might want to use those tools for an email box that you use for generating leads. So it might be sales@intraface.com. Somebody might email that, and then that would therefore create a lead if we have that selected. So it's good for general emails. And if we click on connect, you'll be able to see here that it will start creating your email mailbox inside Bitrix. It will start bringing those emails. And then it will also start mapping the emails, who they've come from, into the CRM if they exist in a CRM. So it's a great way, again, of accessing, so for example, if you didn't have Outlook on your computer because now you're working remotely, then it's perfect to house all your emails in Bitrix, because it's a cloud-based system that anytime you log into Bitrix, you'll be able to see those emails within here. And you can do some cool functions with this as well, because any email that you receive, you can create tasks from, and you can discuss them internally, and so on and so forth. So there are some great features of using that. So you can see here, if I wanted to create a task from this, I could just click on create task, and it takes a copy of that email and puts it in the tasks. So they are really useful. We're going to have some more soon, discuss an activity stream, chat, and create an event from emails as well. As an agency, will you suggest us any format or template? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you are regarding emails, are you regarding a particular Bitrix24 site? If you could just let me know, then I'll be able to maybe explain a little bit further. I have created extra fields in the CRM company. In order to import all the extra fields with data to another CRM company, if I import extra fields, it will create or not in another CRM company. So when you're importing, as long as you have your custom fields, so I'm just going to follow on from that, or do we need to create all those extra fields in another CRM in import? So you would only ever create your custom fields once. You don't need to create. So if you're importing into companies, and let's just go into our CRM settings here, form and report settings, and then custom fields. Click on the fields here. You will see a list of all our custom fields for our company. You will only ever need to create them once, the fields themselves. And then when you're doing the import, just include those custom field headers in your spreadsheet. So if we have, for example, ID number, turnover, and event date, just make those column headers in your CSV, and then you can leave them blank and empty if you want. You don't have to for every company that you import, as long as they're not required, because you can make custom fields required. If you do an import and leave that particular field empty, then it will return an error, because it is a required field, and therefore you would need to make sure that it's populated with something. So yeah, so you would only need to create the custom fields once. I think that's what you are meaning. You wouldn't need to create the custom fields more than once for however many times you're doing the import. You would just need to just create custom fields once, and on every row that you're importing, then you would just run that particular import. You are a digital marketing agency. We want to shift all our work into Bitrix. However, we are not sure to use Bitrix for our company. Do you have any template or best practices for your company? So Bitrix I don't believe they have done yet, but Bitrix are releasing. It was in their latest release video on YouTube. They are releasing templates in the CRM for specific types of business. Now, that's not available just as yet, But with regards to, I guess, probably what would be best is to maybe arrange a call with one of our team. We do work with a number of different web agencies, and we might be able to offer some training or something, a similar service for that, looking at what our other clients have done. But essentially, what you should always focus on in terms of using Bitrix for your digital agency is generally the tools to generate your inquiries. So Bitrix has a great range of tools to do that. We touched upon it at the beginning of this session. But in your contact center here, you have all the tools like live chat, web forms, Facebook, Instagram, all those tools that connect to Bitrix to generate leads. That's your starting point. And then you should, once you get that lead, you should have a think about your lead qualification process. So in leads are generally used for brand new inquiries. So have a think about how you determine to qualify a lead to see if they are a good lead, and then therefore you can qualify them into a deal, or secondly, to junk them because they're wasting time. So have a think about your lead qualification process. And this is quite important because then you can base your automation rules on that particular qualification process. So you can send out automatic emails, you can send out SMS messages, you can create tasks internally for people to follow up on things. So you can click on configure automation rules and set these. And then when we qualify a particular inquiry, we can then, let's just say, for example, we want to generate a deal and a contact. And then the next process that you need to have a think about and setting up is going to be your deal pipelines. So as a digital marketing agency, you might have somebody inquire about PPC campaigns. So you might have a pipeline for PPC. You might have a pipeline for Facebook ads, Instagram marketing, and you can create these individual pipelines, and then based on that brand new inquiry, you can drop it into one of those pipelines. And let's just say they're interested in PPC campaigns for you taking over their campaigns. You would have that pipeline. And then for that sole pipeline, you can have a sales process for converting and winning out that particular kind of opportunity. Because I'm sure that if somebody phones up and says, I've got a $1,000 budget every month for Google ad campaigns, your sales process is going to be very different to somebody ringing up and saying, I want you to create me a landing page, or so on and so forth. So have a think about how you can then segment your different types of opportunities into those pipelines with the end goal of closing out and winning that deal. And then based on that, it doesn't have to end there. If it's a reoccurring cost, then you can have reoccurring deals. So if somebody wants to be spending $1,000 a month, you can start having repeat deals that are associated to your new client. And that's how you should work. Especially in the digital marketing, you're going to have a kind of tools to accept reoccurring opportunities, reoccurring deals. So maybe as well, just get in touch with us. We might have some examples to show, but Bitrix is introducing some template tools. So we'll keep you posted as soon as that comes through. So again, those are our contact details. I don't have any more questions that have come through during the week. We are having these sessions, just to point out, not only I'm going to continue the Thursday session at 10 a.m. Eastern time every week, but we're also going to introduce, just while the current crisis is going on, we're going to have a Tuesday session as well at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So again, if you start implementing any answers to any questions that you maybe have been asked today, we can then take a look on Tuesday, and maybe you can ask those questions again. So Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 4 to 6 weeks. They are going to focus on particular areas. So we do have, for next week, we're going to look on Tuesday at the collaboration in work groups. So that is one area that we're going to look at. And then we'll be covering public-private work groups and how your team can work remotely using the features within inside those particular work groups. So that's going to be Tuesday's focus. So you have different clients. Each client has different projects. Each project has different tasks. How can I make this workflow in Bitrix? So yeah, I mean that's quite a common particular process. So the idea is that you get the inquiry, you get the sale. Now you need to start your project. There's a couple of ways of doing it. So in Bitrix, your projects are generally managed in your project spaces and your project work groups here. So once you've closed out this particular sale, so if we close and won, there's two ways of what you can do next. Okay, so one of the ways, in fact, let me go into a process I know that we've got pre-built. So if we go into our other site here, I know we have a solution in here, I do believe. So if we go into one of our deals, we close and win it, and we click into the deal. One of the things that we can do, I think we've got it in here, is we have maybe a create work group. It might be called create project. So we have this little workflow icon up here. We can click on create work group, and that can then automatically create the project group. It might be a little bit better, especially if you went into a particular company. So let's just say the new client, going to start a new project, click into the workflow tool up here, and then click on create project. What that then does, it pops up a project form. So this can allow you to specify some particular form fields that you need. And based on the information that you add onto this, it can then create specific tasks. So let's just say we'll call this maybe Facebook ads. And maybe what we'll do is we'll put Tech Co. So we'll put the company name here. We'll give it Facebook ads. Select a particular manager. So if I said John Smith, and then we'll say create campaign, and then we'll say launch campaign. You might be able to tell that I don't know too much about digital marketing, and then report on campaign. So they're going to be our 3 tasks that are going to create, and we'll put a deadline, of next week. We can select a file, so let's just upload our template quote, for example, and click on start. So what that will do initially is if we go into our workflows, and I'll be able to show you the process of how this is all done in a moment, and then just click onto order. Approval required for TechCo. You have been assigned a new project. If I click into here, I can then approve, and we'll say estimated completion date is going to be next week. Click on accept, and what that will do automatically is now go into work groups, and you can now see we have a new project space inside Bitrix. So if I go into TechCo Facebook ads, is what I put into the form, and then go into the tasks themselves. And now you can see create campaign is milestone 1, launch campaign is milestone 2, and report on campaign is milestone 3. So the form has automatically created these particular projects tasks based on the content that we put into the form. So if you are interested in something like that, please do, like I say, drop us an email to either Andy@intraface.com or sales@intraface.com, and I can send you over that pre-built template for you to tweak and modify. Because essentially what you could have, when you go into the company, you could click on the workflow and say Facebook project, website project, email marketing project, and you could have different workflows for different kinds of projects to pre-build your project spaces inside here. And then from this, you obviously assign the relevant people to the tasks, but it's a much more efficient process. You say, but there are only 3 milestones. Some of our projects have more than 20 tasks. That's what I mean. This is our example workflow. When you create your workflow, what you could have is you could have a field. So if we went into CRM here, and let's just go back to where we were, you could have it create 20 tasks without you having to enter any data in the form. So you could create the 20 tasks straight away. Or you could have a multiple add field. So if we had a field within this particular form, create here, and instead of having milestone, we could have task, and then it would have a little add button, and then you could add as many as you want. Our example only shows 3, just to show you the basic concept of how it would work. So hopefully that just gives you a little bit of guidance. Could I use sequence on cold email and automatically send email to my clients, then set up a follow-up with them via Gmail? So, not 100% sure in which area you would want that, but in terms of whether you're in leads or deals, you could certainly set up automated drip campaign emails. So let's just say somebody inquires, we get a new lead in here, then based on our automation rules, click on configure automation rules. You can see here that we can send the first email out. So let's just show you how to do that. In the automation rules, click on client communication and then send email. And then we could say, thank you, so on and so forth. Click on hello. And then on the right hand side, we can make these a little bit more dynamic. So we can say hello, first name. And if you want to drip feed HTML templates, you can absolutely do so. Just click on to where it says here, visual mode, click onto it, and then click on the source code mode, and you can copy and paste your HTML templates in here. Then you can send that to run immediately, and then furthermore what you could do is you can start stacking them up. So we can send another follow-up email. So we could say, have you decided, or whatever you want it to be. And then instead of having it run immediately, what we'll do is we'll have it run in 5 days' time. Click on here after the previous automation rule. So first of all, it's going to send a thank you email. Secondly, then it's going to, in 5 days' time, it's going to send an email. If it hasn't, or if the lead hasn't already moved on from here. And then we can send emails, schedule calls, and that's probably the best way. In terms of your second point about then set up a follow-up with them via Gmail, what you can do is, if you've got your email integrated into Bitrix, and let's just say you send an email to this specific lead, so that's going to send an email, and they were to reply, then Bitrix will know, as long as you've got your email integrated, if Sam at intraface.com or Sam at test.com were to email, it would come back into this particular lead. So that would mean, therefore, that you can arrange a follow-up with them if you wanted to. So that's the best way to drip emails. So based on these automation rules are triggered on every status that it lands on. So new lead will trigger send email, first call will trigger schedule a call, and so on and so forth. So you got, thank you. Can anyone from your team help us with your queries? We are stuck of getting Bitrix. Yeah, absolutely we can. That's what we're here to do. Probably the best thing there's one of two options how you can get in touch. You can either go to intraface.com, and if you go to the website here, if you just click on the chat icon, then you can speak to one of us online, and then we can arrange maybe a call with you to discuss your requirements. So yeah, absolutely. Or alternatively, just give us a call on one of those numbers, or drop an email to sales@intraface. Just say that you are on the Bitrix24 live, and we can assist you going from there. Okay, so I think that's everything for now. I don't have any more questions that have come through, so I will leave it there. But like I mentioned, please do get your questions in, and I can answer them on Tuesday's session, and that again is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday for the next live session on YouTube. So hopefully that's helped. Thank you very much for your time, and bye for now.